Listen boys, I want to say something that most trading indicators will not say. Now before you guys click off, I know exactly what you guys are thinking. This is just another trading guru gonna try sell me a course. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Because I thought the same when I was watching these trading YouTube videos 6-7 years ago, when I was trying to find an extra stream of income because I didn't want to keep swapping my time for money working in the Amazon warehouse. He's gonna tell me trading's easy. I did it in 6 months. If you lock in, you guys can be on a jet in Miami by summer 2026, and then hit me with a course that's £2,000. Firstly, I'm not. What I am gonna tell you is the honest, unglamorous, and slightly embarrassing story how I was at Amazon warehouse 6-7 years ago, and I invested all my money into trading, and I was losing every single month, to now having made over 6 figures in the stock market, and the person that's up £10,000 last week on the swing positions that I have made because we were dollar cost averaging in our public portfolio. And this happened not because I had some secret strategy or the market was doing something crazy, but because of one thing. And I'm gonna tell you exactly what that one thing is, so stay with me. So let me tell you where I was about 7-8 years ago. You guys have heard this story a lot before. I was a losing trader. I was working at Amazon because I needed some cash flow. So I was making £1,000 a week because I was working 60-hour days, night shift, grafting from I think 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. every single day. And then we would wake up at 2:30, 1:30, hit the gym, get back to the charts, and day trade from 2:30 up till 5:30, and we were losing. And then I would get my Amazon outfit back on and go to work. I was the textbook losing trader. I had the charts, I had the indicators, the RSI, the MACDs, the whole thing. I had maybe 3 monitors in my bedroom because on paper, that is what you should have, right? That is the setup that millionaires are made. You need 3 monitors, you need the NASDAQ on one screen, S&P on the other screen, and maybe Bitcoin on the other screen, and analyzing all these different indicators, because the more indicators, the more money you make, right? And I was losing, guys, consistently, month after month. I ain't gonna say absolute BS, bro. It's not dramatic. I didn't have one singular trade where I forgot to put a stop loss and I lost 50 G's in one day. You see on social media, see TJR, see other people doing it. No, I wasn't blowing up accounts overnight. Just slowly grinding away at my account. Maybe I'd lose £100 here, £50 here, but overall, I was a very young kid. I was in my early 20s or it was our teens. Maybe I was 20 years old at the time. And £100 meant a lot to me. I was working at Amazon all day, all night for £100. So to lose that before shift every single day, it was soul destroying. Or I was making money on Monday to Thursday and I thought that I had this thing locked down. But then Friday hit along and I always used to think Friday would always go down. That was how I traded. When I was trading, Friday was always a short day. But then I gave it all back on the Friday, and that would happen consistently, week in, week out, where when I actually calculated things, I was a losing trader. But I didn't think that, because when it was green, I thought I knew what I was doing. And that is the trap that a lot of you guys fall into. But the worst part of it wasn't just about the money. The worst part was I was telling myself that I hadn't found the right strategy yet, or the right system. So I would invest in that next course, that next strategy, and that next indicator, and that would be the one that would click. So I kept buying my courses until obviously until I knew I invested in the correct course, which is my current mentor today. But we'll dive deeper into that further on into the story. But back then, I was probably spending more on courses and investing in my education than most people had spent on a second car. Bear in mind I was 20 back then, so everyone was driving Vauxhall Corsas, Fiestas, and flexing those type of cars where I didn't even have a car back then, I don't think. Oh no, I had a Corsa 2012 plate and then I crashed it. But moral of the story is I was still unprofitable. Now, does that sound familiar to you guys? Because if it does, then this video is specifically for you guys. And I genuinely wish someone would have sat me down 8 years ago and told me these exact things that I'm about to tell you guys, because it's gonna save you guys a lot of money and a lot of time. The two main important things in life. Now guys, this is the shift. This is the turning point. So what changed? It wasn't a new strategy, it wasn't a new indicator. And I want to be really clear about that, because the trading industry has conditioned us into 8-second clips of Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and made us believe that the path to success is having this secret strategy that only the successful people on social media know about. Now that's not the case. Now what changed was something much simpler. When I tell you guys what has changed, you guys are gonna be like, is this it? Is that it? I'm not gonna invest. I'm not gonna do this. I'm just gonna do it all by myself. But I changed the psychological aspect of my brain. So I stopped trading for money and I started trading to execute a purpose. Now listen, bear with me, right? See, so when you're starting to trade with money, every trade becomes a trade with emotion. So you need it to work. When you have no money, you don't attract money. So you put on a trade and you need this trade to hit. And then you start trading with emotion. You move your stop loss because you can't face being wrong. And then you revenge trade a loss after a loss. And then you spiral outwards because you need to get back to even, because you needed that money to pay for your fuel, pay for your rent, or pay for your food. So every trade feels like a test whether you're good enough, whether you were made for this trade in life, whether the watch that you want you can get, right? And then you're in that headspace where you make terrible decisions. No matter how good your strategy is, you're still making losses. You look at your profit and loss sheet and you're at a loss, a heavy loss, and how are you gonna tell your mum? How are you gonna tell your parents? But when you actually shift and you genuinely shift and trade, it's a process, that's when something weird happens. And I swear to you guys, just try it, because the outcome of any single trade stops mattering, because you're not measuring your success to whether this trade hits. You're measuring it by whether you followed the rules that you had in place. And I know this sounds like a crazy motivational speech or motivational poster, but I promise you guys, just try it. The way that you trade and the consistency will be very different. Guys, for example, sometimes you don't even need to day trade. This week, I made £10,000 this week just off the swing trades. Now, in my Discord group, we've been given advice. I'll put screenshots here. A lot of you guys know the stocks that I am in and the plays that I am leveraged in, right? So the people that invested themselves have me to guide them through difficult times and difficult situations like this. Now, let me get you a screenshot now. I'll put a screenshot up in the thing now. Last week we pulled £10,800 just on our swings. When everyone was scared, everyone was buying. When everyone was scared, we were out here working, which is why you haven't seen any day trade videos of me, because we were constantly taking advantage of the market. Now there's two ways to trade. There's a way to day trade and there's ways to swing trades, right? There's a time that you need to day trade and there's a time that you need to swing trade. The last week and the last month, if you had capital, you had to be deploying that into the market. So instead of day trading last week, which is why you haven't seen a lot of my videos, we were implementing our swings. We were putting our money into the markets. And obviously I'm not a financial advisor, but things have played out. I told them that the market is going to bounce. So in the last week, we are up 10.8K. Put a screenshot now. So sometimes you guys need to learn when not to trade. I know the mindset that you guys have, you're young, who can have too much money. But sometimes if the market is not set up correctly, you need to know to change your strategy. You have to change with the strategy when the market is changing. So for example, on Monday, I didn't trade. The market started off choppy. My pre-market watch list didn't set up the way I wanted it to. And my rule is, if there is no A-grade setup, you sit on your hands. So I closed my laptop at 3 p.m. and went to the gym. And that was my day done. But then swing started cooking. So you already feel productive. So guys, only trade when the setup is there. Do not force trades. So like I said, we made £10,000 this week, but how long was that physically actually working behind the screen? Especially when you're swing trading, you're never behind the screen. Your work is when you buy. Especially with swing trading. When you buy, that is when you work, when you've done your analysis. Now think of it as a farmer. You put your crops and that's when you're working, and then you wait for it to grow. So now we are waiting for our portfolio to grow, and then we're gonna harvest. It's gonna be harvest season soon, and then guys, that is when you take your profits. But there are 3 things that a profitable trader has that a non-profitable trader does not have, and it's not a correct strategy. Number 1, a written plan for every single trade before you actually enter the trade. Not in your head, a written down level. You would have mapped your support, you would have mapped your resistance, you would have mapped your entry levels and exit levels and stop loss. So when the price hits a certain level, what you're going to do. That means you are trading without emotion, because that's the difference. If you don't have these numbers written down, this is as a beginner, then you're not trading, you're just gambling. You're hoping that prices goes to a certain level and you're guessing. Obviously, I have a specific strategy that we use, but the overall idea of how you trade is exactly the same. And number 2, a rule about when not to trade. And this is what nobody actually talks about. The goal isn't about trading every single day. The goal is, now remember this one, the goal is to trade well when the market gives you something. So when there is a easy direction in the market, maybe Trump has made a peace deal, you are going to take 70% of your weekly trades during this time, because there is a clear direction and it's clear how you are going to scalp. When the market is flat and the market is not giving what you want, it's difficult to trade that situation. So you're putting yourself into the market and you're going to have larger chances to fail basically. And number 3, I don't personally do this, but I know a lot of my friends that have, because I was never a person to write in my diaries or whatever. It's post-trade journaling. If you are a girl, do this, because I think this is more like a girly thing. But my friends have told me that apparently this captures your emotional state. So it's not just your entry and exit, right? Because apparently killing your account is not just the charts, it's emotion, which is true. And you can journal your emotional mistakes that you make under pressure so you don't replicate these issues. But these are the main things that people that are successful in trading, that's their foundation, guys. A strategy, you obviously need a strategy. You can't just go in blindsided. But the strategy is almost secondary. Your psychological is the main thing, because a decent strategy executed with discipline will be a great strategy executed emotionally every single day of the week. And I know some of you guys are watching this thinking, how do I actually build these habits? How do I design the trading plan? And what does the journal actually look like? And that's actually exactly how I built my course around. We have got the strategy, but we have also got a very close-knit community for everyone that has invested in their education. And I am there to handle the emotional aspects of it, especially when the market's going down. Obviously, when the markets are up right now, the group chat isn't popping one bit because everyone's making money. So that makes my life easier. But when they lose money, I'm there to save them, and that is the main emotional aspect of this group. You get a community with it. I spent a long time thinking about what I actually needed when I was losing. It wasn't a strategy video, but of course, a lot of people wanted the strategy, and I have a strategy that I have used for 5-6 years now that's profitable, and the people that are in there are profitable too. But if you really wanted to, you could probably find a strategy online through someone else, but they're not there to handle the emotions I am. So the Blueprint Academy, it's everything we just talked about, the technical analysis on how we trade. It's everything we talked about psychologically, emotionally, and a full technical framework for day trading these stocks, and also swing trading. It's 2-in-1. We're not taking on any individual, of course, you have to be fully committed, but A lot of people can apply on jeffreychungtrading.com, which is linked in my bio. It's not £2,000, it's not a monthly subscription, it's the price of going to eat a few dinners with your missus. So if you can't invest into something like that, then you shouldn't be trading. But if the price isn't right for you, completely fine. Just lock in, don't give up on trading, because that's the real starting point. But I want to leave you guys with one question, and I genuinely want you guys to answer it, because I read every single comment in my comments below. Where are you right now on this journey of trading? Are you at the stage that I was, losing consistently every single month? But drop it below, one sentence. Where you are right now determines what you need to do next. And I want to help you guys figure that out. So if this video gave you something useful, drop it a subscribe, because it helps me out a lot. Or even send it to your friend to watch, because you guys are losing traders. But we're going to turn you into profitable traders if you stay tuned in this YouTube series, in this YouTube channel. Lock in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.